why that move's a hella useful. And then your last two moves in your left foot forward to know is your sidestep 3-3 and your sidestep 4. The only thing I can say about these moves is I would use these not frequently, but like change them up. Because after they see, like usually, especially an advanced Hwoarang player, when they see you sidestep, they usually expect the 4. So a lot of people end up blocking this. It's still a very, very good move, and its range isn't bad either. But a lot of people end up blocking it or ducking it or parrying it or whatever, especially the people that know Hwoarang really well. So that's why I always try to say make sure you change it up and put in those 3-3s every now and again. It is natural, so if the mid hits, the high will hit even if they're ducking. So that's good. And that's pretty much it for his key moves and pokes from left foot forward. So let's go ahead and get right into his right foot forward moves. So he has his 2-1. These are really, really good. It's just like his 1-2, except you're in his right foot forward. So it's going to be 1-2 this time. You have his 2-3, which is really, really good. That's really good. Then you have his 2-4-3. It's basically just the same as this, except you're from right foot forward. You could just do 2-4-3, or you could do 4-3, whichever you feel. And you have his 2-4-4. Oh, my bad. And you have his 2-back-4. And I'll explain, like, there isn't really a lot of uses for this move, but I'll show you one really, really, really good way you can use it, and you can literally hit your opponent with this almost every time. But we'll get into that in a moment. You have his backlash, which, if you remember the flying eel attack, it's just 3-4, really, really quick. It's the same exact thing, but it's going to be with your right foot forward, and that's his backlash attack. And this is going to be your go-to launcher, your go-to shield attack, your go-to, it could be your go-to screw attack, and it is a homing move at the same time. So this has like 4 or 5 different uses. So if every single move that I've told you so far you don't think is very effective, you don't like them, I would strongly recommend putting this into your Hwoarang gameplay. It's really, really, really good. The only downfall is that it is a high, and it is fairly easy to see, but it's also a shield attack. So, and I usually tend to use this when people are attacking. So yeah, I end up taking damage, but I'll take a little bit of damage if it means I'm going to get a full combo on somebody, which typically takes more damage. So that's that. You also have his down forward 3 from his right foot forward. It's typically the same as his down forward 4. It's a little stronger, but it has a longer recovery time. So you really want to be careful using it. Like, as you can see, the range isn't too bad. It's about the same. It just takes a little longer because it's a little stronger. You have his down forward 4, and the thing about this move is I never really see anybody use this move. However, it is probably one of Hwoarang's strongest moves from his right foot forward, just because you can go into different stances, and I'll get more into that later. You have his down 4. This is really, really good, especially against opponents that are really bad at blocking lows, or somebody who's on the ground, you know, at the wall, usually, especially because even if it gets blocked, it's not really punishable unless they, you know, do a low attack on you. So that's really, really good. Obviously, the range isn't the greatest because it's just him sticking his foot down. So then you have his down back 3-3. I would not consider this a key move, but this is definitely something you want to try to use. Only because, oh my bad, only because it is a screw attack. You know what? It is a screw attack, so it is valuable if you learn how to use it properly. And if it hits on counter, then it's guaranteed, no matter what. And that's been that way since Tekken 6. So that's really, really, really good. It's powerful. If they both do hit, I don't even know. They both hit. It's 13 and 28. But as you see, it doesn't even consider that to be a what is it? A combo. So a counter hit down back 3-3 obviously does 43 damage. So it's really, really good. So just be aware of using it. But you know, try to use this every now and again. If you don't use the whole string, I would still strongly recommend his down back 3. It's a fast poke. It's really, really good. I use this a lot in my Hwoarang fights, because even if this gets blocked, as you can see, it has decent pushback, and it's not too punishable either. Unlike this move's a little bit more punishable. So I would definitely recommend the down back 3 before the whole string, especially against somebody who knows Hwoarang really well. Another good move is his back 2. The cool thing about this is, as you can see, it's got that pushback. It's got that get the hell away, you know, effect on blocking opponents. And on counter, it'll knock them down. It's not a launcher though, but it is really, really good. And you should get yourself, if it does knock him down, you get yourself a free a free 3. So that's really, really good. Or really, you can even do back. Oh, my bad. Wrong one. You can do down back 4, but it doesn't do as much as you might have just noticed. So use that to your advantage. You have his back 3 from right foot forward, and this is the same exact thing as his back 4. There's no difference whatsoever. They're both the same damage. They're both just as valuable as the other. So that's good. You have his. Oh shit! I went too far. You have his forward 4-3, which again, if you prefer this forward 4-3 over his forward 4-3, all you gotta do is 4-3 plus 4 and then 4-3, and you'll get that pretty easily. It's pretty quick, pretty easy. And then his forward 4-3. The cool thing about this move, I love this move. I exploit the crap out of this, especially in online fights against people who really don't know Hwoarang very well. The cool thing about this move is that if you do forward 4-3 and they do block it, if they don't duck the high, because they can duck that high. However, if that high does manage to land, even if they block it, as you can see, like I can sit here and I can do things all day, and there's nothing I can do. They're blocking. You could do forward 4-3, and you get yourself a back 2, back 4, which this is a move I mentioned earlier. You'd bet 2 back 4 from right foot forward, and that's exactly the stance you'll be in as soon as you pull it off. But you get yourself a free 2 back 4. You can also do 2-3, but this is like an extra 7 damage. So I would recommend this first. So that's definitely really, really good. And that's all of his key moves and pokes from his right foot forward that are worth knowing. Now, before I get into left flamingo stance, there is one move I forgot. I didn't write it down, and I've been hesitant on whether or not to even point it out. But if you can find a way to use this, this is a fairly good move. It's going to be your up forward 2. It does, as you can see, it does force crouch. And this is the only move I know the frame data for, which is +3 on block. So this is really, really good. Only because it force crouches, and by the time they can really do anything, you can already have something else put up. So that's really, really good. The only problem with this move is that, as you can see, it has a little bit of a long startup. So be careful. Okay, so that's pretty much it. That's it. So now let's go ahead and get into his left flamingo stance. Again, to get into his left flamingo stance, it's just forward 3. Nothing fancy there. And first move is just going to be your normal 1. Just a quick little poke. Oh, shit. It's going to be your normal 1. Then you got your 2. It's just like his normal rusty knife, but this is coming out of left flamingo. You have his 3-3. Also, keep in mind that if this does land, or my bad, if this does land, you get yourself a free forward 3, neutral 3, which is why I made sure to point it out earlier. And as you might have guessed from me just accidentally doing it, if you do 3-3-3, you can also do that. But that one doesn't really go through as often as your 3-3 will, because if the first 3 gets countered, it'll go through. As you can see, that's not going through. Or my bad. As you can see, oh my bad. As you can see, that's not going through. But that did on counter. So that's a big thing. But so that has a lot more chance of going through than your 3-3-3 will. So I would recommend the 3-3 before the other one, the 3-3 from Flamingo stance. You also have your 3-4, which is really, really good. It's the same. It's probably going to be one of your main go-to strings and your go-to, like, what is it, launch users. Like, you know, you'll probably end up using this a lot. You also have your down 3-4. So that actually makes this usable from 3 different stances. So you can use this from left foot forward, you can use this from right foot forward, and you can use this from left flamingo, which makes this all the more valuable. Let's see. You have your forward 3, which is a really, really good move. So that's really, really good. You have your forward 4-3, and just like your 3-3-3 and your 3 from Flamingo stance 3-3, if you manage to get this, you get yourself a forward a free forward 4-3. I wish that you can use your forward 3 neutral 3 from here, but you can't. So that's why I say, you know, it might take a while at first while you're getting to know Hwoarang, but once you learn what stance you're going to be in at the end of the string, that'll become a lot more easy to use. Maybe not at first, however. You also have your down forward 3-4. It's the same from your left flamingo. So it's the same as if you're in left foot forward. You have your down 4 from left foot forward, and technically this is a launcher, but I'd be remiss to say if I didn't point this out as a normal poke as well. But as you can see, be very careful. It's punishable, but it is fairly good. This is good for mostly like baiting your opponents. Like, you guys are fighting, especially at the beginning of the fight. This might be something to whip out every now and again.